You, Eric, and welcome everyone. It's so good to be with everyone again. Welcome to those of you who are new as well. You've come on a very special session, a session where I don't know, maybe I just don't give a shit today. So I'm just gonna do whatever I want. Like it's my party. I mean, it's like when you become Lama Rod, you do whatever you want. But until then, I'm the headliner. So this is what we're doing. Now, this is just a little taste of the holiday frolic. This is what you're missing out on, right? But it may return next year. We don't know. We just don't know. But I had to like unleash some of it, some of the festivities that I used to do for holiday frolic. But here we go. Welcome everyone to Medicine Buddha. Um, yeah, on this winter, well, at least in this hemisphere. Is winter. Different for our friends in Australia, I think. Um, and we are, yeah, happy solstice. We're in the solstice season. We're still kind of moving through the last pieces of the solstice. And I hope that all the solstice activities last week, for those of you who attended, was beneficial. Um, our online gathering, which I think went well, and our in-person gathering at our new space here in Atlanta on Saturday night. For those of you who came, a couple of you came. I hope that was powerful. We had a really beautiful fire ceremony and candle ceremonies. Um, yeah, I thought it was really beautiful. We had lovely um, herbal tea medicine formula that I created. I think everyone enjoyed it as well. A little solstice tea. Um, yeah, so much is happening, and as we continue, feel free to check in the chat. You know, just how are you doing? How's your heart? You know, what's going on? Um, yeah, what's up? I would love to know as we get ready for our practice. Um, yeah, you know, it's so much of this, like this is the Dharma, right? Like this is everything all together, all at once. That's it, right? And what we're being asked to do in our Dharma practice is to show up and to hold, right? To allow things first and foremost to be, right? Let the chaos be. Like you can't change anything until you let it be present, until you let it have its space, right? Until you really actually accept what's happening, everything that's happening, you won't be able to enter into the transformation of the thing itself, right? And the transformation of the thing itself is really also the transformation of ourselves. Like we have to change, right? It's never, as I always say, it's never the thing itself. Like it's our relationship to the thing. You know, we're trying to change our perceptions, our relationships, our assumptions, our misunderstandings, all that we're trying to shift, we're trying to change. When we change, the phenomenal world starts getting free, right? Not just us, but the phenomenal world, phenomena begins to get free. Um, and what does that mean for phenomena to get free? Right? Because in kind of my practice embodiment of spiritual abolition is that everything and everyone has to get free, not just beings getting free from delusion, but things have to get free from our misperceptions, our misunderstandings of it, right? We have created a carceral situation because we have misunderstood the nature of phenomena. Like we think a wall is a wall, a mountain is a mountain, a seat is a seat. We think that the body is what we are and all of that. Those are gross misunderstandings of the nature of everything. And because we misunderstand it so intensely, it becomes just another layer of suffering. This is why I use the word carcerality. The carceral experience is the experience of feeling as if we are trapped by phenomena. When phenomena gets too real, too solid, too static, too permanent, it becomes a carceral experience and we feel policed by the illusion of realness, right? And I hope you can take me seriously with my Santa Claus cap on, which, by the way, I'm very grateful to find a hat to actually fit my head because I do have a big head, right? So I'm not probably TMI, but like you just have to know that for those of us with heads of sizes, we have size-worthy heads. Like it's hard to find hats, right? Um, and I do enjoy a hat, friends, by the way, right? Who doesn't? Who doesn't enjoy shopping for hats, right? But anywho, I digress. The point is, right, the carcerality that arises when we actually have this misunderstanding of phenomena, right? This is what Dharma is trying to help us cut through. We're cutting through this misunderstanding to get back to the liberation, to get back to the truth. Right. And sometimes you have to just feel overwhelmed because the overwhelm is actually short-circuiting our like attempts to organize things and label things and make sense of things. So, like we have to get overwhelmed for us to just give up. And when we give up, we notice that we begin to relax this mechanism that creates the realness, that validates or reinforces the solidity of things, the realness of things. Right. There are real practices in the tradition where the practices are really based on exhaustion. I think prostrations and refuge are one of those practices for those of you who have engaged in the Nundro and accumulated prostration, which you have to do 100,000 of. I think that's just an attempt to wear you the fuck out. I mean, that's what happened to me. It may be different for you athletic girlies, but for me, that was like busted. Um, but this exhaustion really like you just don't have the energy to create and believe. It's just like, fuck it. And when you get to that spot, like you don't just give up. Like in a tantric sense, once you get to that spot, you just allow yourself to relax. And you relax in a really deeper way, right? Like a really like foundational way. There's a deep, deep relaxation where it's just like you're just letting go and allowing yourself to expand, to settle, to actually kind of take refuge in phenomena, which is really interesting teaching to take refuge in phenomena, right? When I take refuge in phenomena, it means that like I just let it be. It becomes like an anchor for meditation, right? I'm not thinking about it, I'm just noticing, right? To notice isn't necessarily to reinforce, but to think about the anchor is to reinforce the realness of the anchor, right? Same thing for Medicine Buddha. Like when we think about Medicine Buddha becomes real, but we're not trying to make Medicine Buddha real. Like we're trying to allow Medicine Buddha to be. These are two different things, which may seem really confusing. Right? We're doing two different things. We have to allow the illusion to be what it is. And we have to notice the illusion, but we can't take the illusion too seriously. Right? That's the balance that we're trying to get into. Yes, Medicine Buddha and all the Buddhas arise. Yes, Tara arises, and Tara isn't arising. Right? It's the Heart Sutra again. It is and it ain't. This is the place where we have to live. And this exhaustion and overwhelm that I'm talking about is really a skillful way to get there, right? So we think about this moment in the world, this moment in our lives where so much is happening. This holiday season, many holiday seasons, Hanukkah, solstice, right? Christmas and so forth, right? And then, right, there's the real violence that's still happening, the violence against Palestinians, against the Sudanese, Haitians, and so forth, right? That's still going on, right? There is still environmental collapse happening. There's still fascism happening here in the United States and other countries, right? Then there's the winter, right? For countries, places that get winter, right? Right now, like then there's the winter, right? And all of this gets piled on top of each other. And like we say, this is the happiest time of year, but this is also a miserable time of year for many of us, right? And all of this is happening together on top of ending a really kind of messy, shitty year for a lot of us. At least it was for me. It was a good year, but I had to fight through this one, right? To get through this one, right? And on top of that, I am still fucking grateful, right? And here I am in my, Christmas sweater, which is not ugly, by the way. I can't say this is an ugly shirt. Like, I actually really like this. It actually lights up, but I think the battery is dead. Anywho, and my Santa's hat, flanked by Tara, about to practice a tantric deity, right? If you think too hard about all of these contradictions, then you're going to get stuck. But if you just let the contradictions be there, then you will start experiencing a lot of spaciousness because you're not trying to make it make sense. Samsara isn't a project to make sense of. Samsara is a project to divest from, right? Let go of this attempt to make all of this make sense. It doesn't make sense. Right. This is the fundamental contradiction that will suck you up. It will hook you. And it's like a whirlpool. Like you get close to it, you start getting sucked into it. This intellectual trying to figure out, right? The contradiction. You're not trying to figure it out, you're trying to feel it, right? What does this feel like? That's the medicine. That's the liberation. What does this feel like? And can you just let that feeling be for a moment, right? That maybe you have the resources that you need. Maybe others around you don't, right? Can you feel that? And feel it in a way where you're not creating this guilt, but just honestly, naturally, just allowing everything to have its place. Yes, there's the gratitude, there's the joy, but there's also the empathy for the suffering, right? That's happening around you, what you're seeing, what you're witnessing. Of course, it's still our suffering as we're making sense and trying to survive our lives and our situations. And there's still this gratitude, right? Like what, like where are you at with this? Like how does this, where are you at as you process this? I mean, I say this all the time, just in different language, different words, right? There's a lot of, I'm reading through reflections. Yeah, a lot of like, yeah, trying to maintain balance. Trying to, yeah, the way we look at things, when the way we look at things changes, those things change. No, your relationship changes. Then once your relationship changes, then you can enter into a skillful process of transformation of the thing itself. right? Until you change, shit isn't going to change. Until your perception clears, you won't ever see clearly what's actually arising, right? But also, for many cases, right, when you change, right, then you won't be manipulating phenomenal reality to get certain needs met or to weaponize phenomenal reality against yourself and others and so forth. How you use or interact with phenomenon will change because you will change, right? So one comment, swinging between clarifying breakthroughs and persistent confusion. Great, you're exactly where you need to be, by the way. So who posted that? Lydia. That's exactly it. Confusion breakthrough, confusion breakthrough. Guess what? Guess what the confusion is? It's the mud. Guess what the breakthrough is? It's the lotus. Congratulations, you've reached a very important space of practice in your practice, right? The mud and the lotus, right? The mud will always be there as long as we're in our bodies in this realm and not yet fully awakened, the mud will always be there. Therefore, the chaos will be there, the confusion will be there, the messiness will be there. You're always going to get dirty, right? Even as you are blooming in realization, you're still going to have mud on you. And can you hold that, right? Without always trying to like wash the mud off, can you just walk around dirty, but knowing the nature of that dirt? Right? Can you bear people staring at you because you're so fucking dirty? It's like, so I've been, watching all the like classic, kind of like Christmas cartoons and movies. That's one of my favorite things to do. So Charlie Brown's Christmas. Literally like watch it every night. I just like the music actually. The music is like, it's just like I love a good like jazz trio soundtrack. I tell you, right? Christmas time is here. I mean, it's wonderful, right? And there's Pigpen. No, is it Pigpen? Yeah, it's Pigpen. Like the little kid, there's always just like a cloud of dirt. And then Charlie Brown's Christmas, Charlie Brown walks up to him and goes, "You're the only person who can like throw up a cloud of dust in a snowstorm." And it's just like those kids were fucking mean. They were ruthless with each other. My God. Like I just never caught that when I was younger, but these kids are like they go for each other. Like why are they so mean? Lucy, for sure. My God. And oh, poor Charlie Brown. Oh, um, but yeah, like it's like with Pigpen, right? Like he's just like, this is what I do, this is who I am. I don't care. You have a problem with this, I don't, right? That's one of the attitudes that we take on as we move through the world, holding this like this contradiction where it's like, yeah, there's real realization, there's real joy, there's real gratitude, and there's also real struggle. And there's real harm, there's real violence happening. And both of these have to be held together, the joy and the struggle. I'm not less joyful because there are genocides. I can feel that, I can hold that with the joy, but I can't let like the sadness, the grief, the despair, like evaporate the joy because that's when I end up hopeless. And when you're hopeless, there's no motivation, there's no inspiration, there's no way to get free, right? Like there always has to be joy, no matter what is happening, no matter if you're facing the last few moments of your life, there has to be joy in those last few moments, right? Like you have to transition from this world in a positive mindset because if you don't, then there's a potential like for real kind of like, you know, troubling transition to happen, you know. Um, and the sadness, the concern is held by the joy, is held by the gratitude as well, you know. Right. And this will always be the case as long as we are in samsara, no matter how wonderful samsara is, there will always be suffering, right? Because this is the nature of samsara. You can't ask this experience to be other than what it is, right? Samsara is suffering. It is the antithesis to liberation, freedom, clarity. As long as we abide here, no matter how awakened we are, we're still abiding in an experience of delusion. And when there's delusion, there will always be suffering. And this is what we hold, this is what we tell the truth about as well. And through all of this, right, you can't take yourself seriously either. I mean, this is a lot of teaching all at once. And there's a lot of complex teaching, right? Like you can't take yourself so seriously, right? Because that reinforces, revalidates a kind of permanence, a realness. And the more that gets validated, the more we feel trapped, you know. And so we breathe, like you find your breath. Like for me, I find my breath, I find the weight of my body, I find the seat or the ground, right? And the ground, the seat, the earth represents stability, groundedness, tethering. My breath represents movements, openness, fluidity, expansion, right? That as I am grounded in this chaos, I am still moving, I am still flowing, right? I am still trying to get free, right? And we let the grief be there, right? Let the grief be present. Like, why? Just let it be there. Like, why are we always struggling against it? Let it be there. You know, you think that grief is going to consume you, right? It consumes us because we believe that we can be consumed, right? It's like believing that the ocean is overwhelmed by water, right? But the ocean is water. The grief is just an expression of our minds. Our minds are limitless, awakened, free. The nature of our minds being the nature of everything, emptiness, space, light, or luminosity, or energy. Right? This is the basic dharma. Like this is just the truth. This is the truth that we're training to remember. You already know this, but it's covered over by narratives and thoughts and, misunderstandings. Like it's already there. I'm not giving you anything new. I'm just trying to excavate what's already present for you, what's already present for all of us, right? Right. So as we as we are transitioning into this new year, right? It's not that things are just going to change. Like January 1st, which is quite artificial, by the way, this kind of Gregorian calendar bullshit, is not in line with the seasons and business cultures and calendars. It's something, the Romans made up, right? But it has all this significance now. January 1st, who gives a fuck? Right? But we take it seriously, right? And we take it so seriously that we think, oh, once January 1st comes, it's like a redo. No, it's the same shit. Samsara is just the same shit over and over again. It doesn't matter what day it is, what year it is, what dimension it is, what timeline, what world, right? It's the same shit, right? At what point do we say, I've seen this show before. I know how this goes. Maybe I should make a different choice, right? A different choice than just sitting around and expecting something to be different when in fact we're not doing anything to create a change, to create something different. We're just kind of waiting around hoping for something. Well, we can hope, absolutely, but what we are given and gifted with is practice, the Dharma, which is our vehicle, which is our tools to create the change that we need to see. And what we most need to see is liberation. We need to see love. We need to see compassion, equanimity, right? Clarity, all of that. That's what we're trying to awaken. That's how we make different choices. That's how we start divesting from the chaos of samsara, which is to, at the same time, divest from really delusion and start reinvesting in the reawakening of clarity or wisdom. Clarity meaning this is what's happening. This is who I am. This is what I am. Right? This is how shit is going down, and this is how it's always gone down. Right? Mm. So let's move into our practice. Um, and we're going to do something similar to what we did in person on Saturday night, which is my version, adapted version of the Christmas Carol practice. But I won't, well, this is when I used to do it for the Christmas frolic, I had costumes, so today I guess I'm dressed as the ghost of Christmas present. That's the ghost I most identify with in the Christmas Carol, the ghost of Christmas present. Right. Jolly, fun, laughing, all this good stuff. And of course, the last song that I played today was from the Muppets Christmas Carol, which is the best movie ever. Like no one's mean in that, you know. Well, except for Scrooge, right? That's the point of the story is like he's mean. But but yeah, um, so let's get started, right? So let's find our seats. And of course, starting with the weight of your body and the seat rising to hold you. And let's reflect on our motivation, our intention for practice. Why are you practicing? You know, and our primary motivation, intention always has to be about getting free, us getting free from delusion and helping others, secondly, get free, right? You have to put the mask on in order to help others get their mask on, right? Don't be trying to help people get free when you're confused as hell. And by the way, that's most of the spiritual industrial complex in this country is a whole bunch of confused people. claiming spiritual practice and then getting other people confused about spiritual practice. Mm. Of course, I maintain the moral high ground, so I'm correct about this. Okay. But in this awakening of aspiration or intention, like really, like what does it feel like to choose liberation? Even if it's just a thought, right? But what does it feel like to say, you know what, I am going to practice. I'm going to do this thing right now because I want to get free and I want others to get free. I think these two have to be of equal importance. Like you're getting free on behalf of all beings, not just for your sake, but for everyone's sake. And it's yeah, it's real hard. Like this work, it's a multi-lifetime project, right? And you all have been at it for a very, very long time. You know, you're all very brilliant at it, and you do it so well. But we just have to keep on a little bit more, right? What does it feel like? And if it feels scary, then I think you're in a good place. If it feels overwhelming, you're in a good place. It's supposed to feel challenging. To want everyone to be free, but that's easy. That's real easy. What isn't so easy is you believing that you deserve to be free, that you do not deserve to be judged or punished by all of the harm that you've been a part of in the past, that you actually get to be free from that as well. And who could you be, right, if you could find this space, this openness, right? Something other than this intense rigidity or tightness or contraction, more than this pressure, right, that comes from suffering but not knowing how to end suffering, wanting something different but not knowing how to get there. And even that frustration and tension, can you allow that experience just to be there? We're not trying to figure anything out right now. We're just showing up to what's already happening. Right? I mean, can you dig it? Right? Because this is some real hot dish that I'm spooning out. You better come hungry and ready to eat. So again, finding your seat, touching the seat, noticing the weight of your body in the seat, and of course, touching the earth. When we touch the earth, we're just thinking about the earth. And when we think about the earth, we are inviting the earth, the land to be present. the consciousness, the awakened consciousness of the land. The land is our mother. We invite the energy of the elemental expression of the earth, which feels grounding, stabilizing. And as we have touched the earth, I also call the light into the space. A candle, my candle, our candle. And as the light is returning to the world, it doesn't mean that darkness is just disappearing. It means that darkness is coming back into a balance with the light. But the lessons of the darkness are never over. But we reach out to the luminosity, right? The clarity of light. Imagine that this flame, right? This illumination is awakening, turning on in your heart center, right? And your heart center begins to illuminate. And from your heart center, your whole body begins to slowly be filled with this warmth, this light. And for a moment, it's like you are becoming like a star, like the northern star in the sky, just like Tara, the star. You begin to illuminate, to radiate in this space. And as you're illuminating, you begin to imagine that the light, right, that you're illuminating begins to fill up the space around you, your personal space, and everything begins to dissolve into this radiance. As everything dissolves, everything begins to dissolve into emptiness itself. And for a moment, we find ourselves sitting, resting in this openness, just letting things just come and go, thoughts, emotions, narratives, just be there. With this deeper trust that even these thoughts are just the expression of emptiness. And from this emptiness, we begin to call all of our benefactors, all of the beings in this universe who want us to be free, which is what love actually means. Not just wanting people to be happy or anything to be happy, but wanting everything to be free from suffering. That is love. So we call all of our benefactors. And we don't have to know who anyone is or anything is, but we just welcome all of these beings, beginning to feel them, to see them, or just to believe that as we open and call, they arrive. And we're surrounded by these benefactors. And as the benefactors are arriving, we turn our attention to our opening mantra for Medicine Buddha. Minla Sangye Kino. Medicine Buddha, please think of me, look upon me. And as we chant this, we're evoking, we're calling to the space the consciousness of Medicine Buddha, who will arrive to help shape the trajectory of our practice, I would say, will guide our practice moving forward as we call Medicine Buddha. So Menla Sangye Kino, again beginning with ending with as we chant the mantra 3 times. And as we begin our chanting, another little practice kind of ask, which is I invite you just to feel into what level of devotion, openness, or gratitude you may have for Medicine Buddha at this point in your practice. Knowing that some of us are brand new, others have been practicing for years, and everyone in between. But just noticing what natural devotion or intimacy or care or love or closeness for this practice or for Medicine Buddha naturally awakens as we begin our chanting. So just noticing, all right? So we're beginning with Om La Zange Kino So Om La Zange Kino So Om La Zange Kino So Om. And so as we complete our chanting, we imagine that Medicine Buddha begins to take form in the space in front of us. And just letting Medicine Buddha arise in whatever form feels natural or appropriate for you in this moment. So don't think about it. Just let it happen. Who does Medicine Buddha become? Because this is the being that will serve as your guide as we move deeper into practice. And you don't, again, have to see anything or feel anything necessarily. right? And maybe you kind of have to like consciously imagine something for the time being, that's fine. Whatever needs to happen in the context of practice right now, I'm going to trust that this is what needs to happen for you. And so as we continue, we begin to imagine that all of our benefactors who are still present, that they begin to radiate the energy of care into the space around you. And this energy begins to be slowly absorbed into your body, into your skin, muscles, bones, organs, into your breath, into your heart, into your bloodstream, down into your cells, all the way down into your atoms. Even imagining this energy flowing all the way back into emptiness through our bodies. And feeling held, grounded, stabilized. We now turn our attention into the heart of our practice. And to begin with, I invite you to imagine that we're taking a trip back to the past, back to Christmas's past, if you will, and if I may. But as we go back into the past, what we're actually looking for is a moment, a situation, an experience where we really needed the care, the energy, the healing of all of these benefactors, of Medicine Buddha as well. A time maybe we felt alone. This could have been today, it could have been last week, it could have been years ago, wherever you stop, wherever you land, that's where you need to be, no matter how recent. And as you move back into that memory, that experience, I want you to feel the closeness of this guide, who is Medicine Buddha, accompanying you, sitting right beside you, moving right beside you like the ghost of Christmas past, holding you, walking with you, sitting with you in this moment. And as we begin to chant our main mantra, we will begin to imagine as we begin the chanting that Medicine Buddha, or this expression of Medicine Buddha as our guide, begins to channel, to offer this kind of flow of healing energy into this situation, into you or who you were during this moment. And imagining that you're just being filled with the energy, the care, the support of Medicine Buddha, who is also being supported by all of your benefactors as well. and just noticing how that past experience and your remembrance of that past experience begins to shift as we begin to open this portal for Medicine Buddha and all the benefactors to channel this energy of healing and care back into the situation. So we begin. O Teyan Taum Begenze, Begenze, Ma Begenze, Razasumungate Soha. 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 Teyan Taum Begenze, Begenze, Ma Begenze, 대한다 온배근제 배근제 마배근제 라서 수문가 대소하 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 대한다 온배근제 배근제 마배근제 라서 수문가 대소하. Now, wherever you are, imagine that Medicine Buddha, as your guide, has poured this last energy into the situation. And imagine that how you struggled in that situation, that all of that has been healed. That everything that you've been holding on to, you just let go of. Letting that memory, letting that situation fade back into the past. Letting for a moment the past dissolve into emptiness. We find ourselves back in the present moment, connecting to the seat, to the weight of our bodies, to the earth, feeling the support of all of our benefactors, the support of Medicine Buddha as our guide, reconnecting to our brilliance, our radiance, remembering the light as we move into these darker situations, remembering that you are the light. And we also turn our attention to this time, to the present moment. And maybe there is a situation or an experience that's happening right now that you could use some energetic support with. So identifying that situation, right? If some of you are going to see your family for this holiday break, then you have a situation that's coming. So that's included in the present as well. But finding that situation, that conflict, wherever it may be, and as we move into the second round of our chanting, this is where Medicine Buddha will begin to pour energy into, to radiate, to illuminate the situation, to help the healing, the clarity arise as quickly as possible. And just allow Medicine Buddha to do this work on your behalf. So we're not doing anything. We're just showing up, remembering, letting Medicine Buddha as our guide support the situation through this radiance. We begin again. O Teanda Begenze Begenze Ma Begenze Raza Sungate Soa Teanda Begenze Begenze Ma Begenze Raza Sungate Soa Teanda Begenze Begenze ma begenze raza zungare zoa teanda begenze begenze ma begenze raza zungare zoa And so we imagine that the situation arising in this moment has been deeply tended to by the outpouring, the blessing of Medicine Buddha as our guide. And we let that situation go, and we imagine that it too dissolves into emptiness, releasing us and allowing us to come back to the seat, back to the earth, back to the breath. And in this pause, we offer our prayers before we continue. And again, calling into the space, or just getting the attention of all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, the Yidams, the Dharma protectors, all beings of light, all benevolent ancestors, all the elements, right? All the spirits of love and liberation in all the worlds. We call to you and we lift these prayers up so that you may begin to work on our behalf now that you will know what we most need to see and experience. We also pray that you offer us the capacity and the resources to bring about the fruition of these prayers as well. And may we work in tandem to bring about the benefit of all beings moving forward. And we begin by offering prayers that my father has a successful surgery for his broken foot and that he soon receives the treatment he needs in order to cure his very aggressive prostate cancer. Prayers for the spirit of Betty Reed Soskin, who passed over yesterday. Prayers for Hitha House and all of its members that they may rebuild anew, even stronger and with great care after their building caught fire. Prayers of protection for those women doing community work, care, work, and healing. Prayers of transformation and peace for those who want to harm or interrupt their work. Prayers for healing and continued recovery from surgery. And may all those with medical trauma come into transformational, empowering, beautiful relationships with their bodies. Prayers for peace and health for my household, my family, and all sentient beings. Prayers for safe travel and passage for my spouse and his group during their mountain climbing trip over the next 2 weeks. May Ali's path out of the isolation that cancer has brought be swift and joyful. Prayers for those experiencing fear and isolation, that they know they are held in tender care by their benefactors. Prayers for those who are unhoused in the cold, that they may experience warmth and care. Prayers for spiritual and material protection and boundaries. Prayers of gratitude and ongoing protection and care in all forms for Lama Rod. Prayers for M and P for good health and longevity. Prayers for G for clarity, for support and his addiction. Prayers for H, prayers that I can learn from the hurt and anger of my daughter's treatment of me. Prayers for all beings in all realms and timelines to be free. Prayers to connect further with the unseen and deeply rest in preparation for the work ahead. Asheo. Prayers for Melissa, Judith, Kathy, Joy, Kay, Wayne, and Chris. Prayers for Jay for being able to feel the love available to him. Prayers for people recovering from narcissistic parenting. Prayers that I can forgive the men in my life who have let me down or disappointed me, including myself. Prayer for my relationship with my son. Prayers that we be guided and guarded through all the unknowns right now to embrace love and freedom. Prayers of gratitude for a beautiful solstice and a wonderful birthday today. May the rest of my solo holiday season be manageable and sweet as well. Prayers of deep thanks and humility for Lama Rod, Medicine Buddha, Guan Yin, my Tara, and all of my fellow bodhisattvas. Prayers for my continued safety and my attaining full freedom as soon as possible, and for the same for all of this community. Prayers for all of our beloved ancestors. Prayers for all those in the world who are feeling alone, who are sick, who are in fear. Prayers we all heal, remember our interconnectedness with each other and be free. Prayers for M and R, may they experience healing and freedom. Prayers for my health and healing. Prayers for Cyan, Joanna, Kara, Serene, Ari, and others experiencing physical pain and instability. Prayers for A and Z as they navigate a complicated time. Prayers for my respiratory illness to clear completely, and for my shoulder to heal without medical intervention. May all who are experiencing illness and injury experience healing. Prayers of gratitude for a renewed relationship with my mom after a period of distance. Prayers for the people of Palestine, Sudan, Congo, and anyone who is experiencing genocide and systemic violence or oppression. Prayers for a new safe home for me, Reverend Yolanda, and Molly, the dog next door, on a wooded piece of land where we can wander on our walks. Ashe. Prayers for a new safe home for Leah, and that she may find support in ways that resonate with her. Prayers for some relief for my chronic bladder pain, or at least increased ability to tolerate it. Prayers for myself, my partner, and my child's mother and her partner, that we may be a blessing for Leroy as he finishes 8th grade and grows towards manhood in his own way. Prayers to support our wisdom and our communication. Prayer for myself as I continue to work with this grief and shed my limiting stories and beliefs. Prayers of gratitude for making it through another semester of seminary without having a meltdown. Prayers for Kay for her move from her home and her next steps on her journey into ministry towards her religious calling. Prayers of gratitude for Lama Rod, Eric, Karen, and the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha. Prayers that I can sleep, that my nervous system can recover, and that I can experience well-being. Prayers for friends AA and JP who are dealing with cancer and disabilities. For SG, who is dealing with a lot of grief and isolation. For FL, who is going through a difficult time. Prayers that I get clear and that I forgive myself. Prayers for the healing of my relationship with my mothers. Prayers for Ricky Joyner, having a lot of difficulty recovering from cancer treatment. Prayers for his wife as well. Prayers for Katie's cousin, AG, and his wife, Megan, and their kids, Natalie and Tyler. Megan recently took her own life, and we are all wheeling. Prayers for the entire family, including their children and all people who love them. Prayers for my teacher, Lord Rinpoche, as he recovers from hernia surgery. Prayers for myself, lots of physical pain and loneliness from the past, which shows up at this time of year, to open to the love and care that is all around all the time. Prayers for Carolyn, Tobin, and the Bardo, for Janice, Siller, and in this time of hospice care and transition. Prayers for my liberation from self-hatred, and may I open to embrace the parts that I dislike with humor and playfulness. Prayers for my friend McLean, who took her life recently. May she finally be at peace and find her way back to the light. Prayers for my friend Brian, who is going through a great distress and is in need of help and healing. Prayers for my friend E, who will be giving birth this week. May they and the spirit making their way to this side of the veil be protected. and may the process be as easeful as possible. Prayers for my mom, Rose Ann, today on her 84th birthday. I can't be with her due to family challenges, but I am with her in spirit. Prayers for myself that I may continue this journey of healing and self-forgiveness. May the clarity I've gained carry me through the year ahead. Prayers for my mother in palliative care as she transitions to hospice, and for my father as he ages and comes to terms with life without my mom. Prayers for my sister who is helping me caregive my mother. Prayers for my cousin Dewey who just transitioned into the bardo this past Saturday. Prayers for the very elusive delusions curtain I feel around me to be dissolved gently as possible, please. Prayers for health for all my beloveds and beloveds I do not know. Prayers for more joy and love and liberation in my coming 43rd birthday. And I continue to pray for the liberation of all peoples from all systems of harm and violence. We continue to offer prayers for all those engaging in the UK hunger strikes, including Amu, who's a member of our community in the UK. May their demands be heard and abided to by the UK government, and may all governments end violence against the most marginalized and underrepresented communities and groups in this world. May all systems of violence be abolished. And as we move into this new year, this new season, as we move into winter, may we have what we need to do the work of getting free from our own self-hatred, our own delusion, our own lack of clarity as well. May we do this work until we get free in this life or in any future life. And we offer these prayers to all of our benefactors, that they continue to work on our behalf and that they show us how to work as well to get free. And just for a few minutes, as we turn our attention back to the last expression of our mantra, that we send this energy either into the future, into a situation that we're knowing that we're going to come up against, and let's send that energy into that situation so that energy can meet us in that situation. And we can also send energy through Medicine Buddha, through our guide, into the prayers that we've offered for ourselves or some of the prayers that others have offered as well. May this energy pour freely into the places that most need this energy. And we return. O teya daum begenze begenze Mahabegenze rasus umungaze suha Teana umbegenze begenze Mahabegenze rasus umungaze suha Teana umbegenze begenze Mahabegenze rasus umungaze suha Teana begenze ma begenze rasu sumungare soa teana begenze 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 begenze ma begenze rasu sumungare soa teana So coming into this pause in our practice, turning back and returning to the seat, to the weight of our bodies, connecting to the earth again, letting go of this future situation or all the activity of the practice, letting all of that just kind of dissolve back into emptiness. Resting your mind. And when we're ready, bring your attention back to the benefactors and Medicine Buddha as your guide. We thank Medicine Buddha. And we imagine that Medicine Buddha dissolves into white light, and that white light is absorbed into our own heart centers. We return our attention to all our benefactors around us, and we thank them for their support, for always supporting us, always loving us, no matter what. And they dissolve into white light, and they dissolve right back into our heart centers as well. And we just rest, sit in this openness just for a few moments. Resting, opening, allowing. So when you're ready, coming back to the seat, to the weight of your body, beginning to reawaken your body through simple movement, stretching, moving through a few deep cleansing breaths. Then we turn our attention to Shantideva's prayer, which we will find in the chat. And we'll recite this 3 times. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures. And until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. May I be a protector to those without protection, and a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for all those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures, and until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. And finally, may I be a protector to those without protection, and a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for all those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless beings, creatures, and until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. All right. Thank you so much. I wanna just leave about 5 minutes for someone to ask a question from someone who's never asked a question. Who's ready to ask a question that hasn't never asked a question? It's gotta be one or two of you. What's on your mind? You can put it in the chat as well. Or you can send it to Eric and Eric can read it anonymously. So many options. So you have your practice, right? As we move into these days deeper, as we finish up this year, of course, we'll be back next Monday, right? So we'll have one more session before January. And then on January 1st, there's going to be free radicals. What a great way to start the year off. And then after free radicals, oh my God, the winter hours with myself and Sister Shifra, which will be a live, like, podcast recording. Well, it's going to be just a live conversation over an app that you'll get all the information for. And we're just going to be chatting every Monday, I think at 11. You'll get it. Listen, you know the rules, right? Never believe what I say about a time or a date until you see it on the website. So I think it's Mondays at 11, beginning on like January 9th, I think. And so we're just going to be talking about wintering. It's just like it's not a video or anything. It's just like listening to our voices. So I think it'll be, I did this last year, to last January as well, which I really enjoyed. But it's going to be us dialoguing just about wintering and herbs and rest and rituals that we're observing and doing during the season.
Mm-hmm. Lama Rod, we have a question.
Okay,
What can I do with anger over things from the past?
let it be there. Don't, it's already too active. What do I need to do about it? Don't do anything. I'm exhausted listening to the question already. Right? Like the problem is we do too much, and that's why anger remains, right? Like we have to give anger space in order for us to get to the heartbreak beneath the anger. Because anger isn't the main event, actually. Anger is the secondary emotion. So what's beneath the anger? That's what we're trying to get to. As long as we're saying, well, what should I do about the anger is just going to get stuck. Like, so first and foremost, just let the anger be there, feel it. But you haven't felt it, you know? Like, let yourself feel the anger because that's going to get you to the disappointment. And that's where we're being called to tend is the disappointment or the heartbreak or the hurt, right? And then that's where you practice. You practice with the hurt, right? In all the ways that we do. You know, again, Love and Rage is a great resource to do these practices, right? So if you haven't read it, please do so. Um, Free Radicals is our monthly gathering. It's just 1 hour on the first Thursday of each month. And it's like UK time, 6 o'clock. It's for the UK community. But anyone can join. And it's like 1 o'clock for Eastern Standard Time, and then you figure out what time zone you're in from there. And it's mindfulness, basic mindfulness practice, some somatic, a little bit of movement work, and we center the life of a change maker. And so we talk about the life of a change maker, and then we bridge their life with practice. So that's basically Free Radicals. And so each session, someone kind of presents like a free radical or a change maker, you know. And when we're doing well, that nomination isn't controversial, and there's no arguments, there's no pettiness. I tell you what,
Always opportunities for arguments and pettiness, though.
well, always, especially in free radicals, it's ripe for controversy. So, like, it's just things that happen that I'm not even aware of, that I don't even understand. And that's just the nature of it. So, but we keep going on because I love people and shit. So, and the Love and Rage guided course. You know, I'm tempted. I am tempted to bring Love and Rage back as a live course, but it's not going to be the same course that's on the guided practice page. It's going to be a different Love and Rage. But I'll see. I don't know. I'm just thinking about it because so many people are coming back to it. Right? Um, so we'll see. We'll see. And yeah, any other question before we sign off? I mean, I just want to, as we're wrapping up, you know, just wish everyone space and peace and rest. May you get what you need right now, right? And may the last few days of this season, of this year, like really be a blessing. May it become medicine that you need. And may you carry this medicine into the new year, you know, and that we just keep fighting, we keep praying, we keep organizing, we keep resisting, and we keep remembering our joy and our gratitude. Don't let the system take your joy away. Like, please don't. No matter what, don't let the system rob you of your joy because that's when the system has you. Because if there's no joy, there's no space. If there's no space, there's no fluidity, there's no creativity, right? It's harder for us to connect to potential. I'm seeing so many people get lost in the hopelessness, which is the loss of joy. Um, okay.